to get one more kill, even two more kill. They want G. The Ice Path is going to be on top. The Sun's follow through. My God, it's going to be a full team wipe up top despite being initiated upon. I do want to point out What?
Yamate is godlike.
Yeah.
Already.
What? 904? We're 15 minutes in, guys.
Yeah. I think that hero is paying off. Every single
really? You think so?
I'm not 100% sure. I still have to do my math, but every single time someone tries to jump on Yamate, and of course it's very tempting to jump on him because he's so pretty.
Right.
But he always static links the right target. He always gets the unstable current on whoever needs to be unstable currented. And suddenly this rotation from the supports is great. The rotation from the Darkseer was perfect. I think the vacuum was key in getting all that they desired. And right now LGD.int has to say, oh, we're in a bit of a trouble because, yeah, our Luna was getting all the farm. Our Lifestealer is supposedly a strong hero, but these guys with these unconventional picks, they're beating us.
Yeah,
and we don't have an answer for this.
I do want to point out Alchemist has a Medallion Courage, and when you see that projectile flying up and you debuff them with the Medallion, it does a ton of damage. You were talking about earlier with Acid Spray, applying the minus armor. This is going to do it on the next level. He also is going to go a Staff of Wizardry. Your guess is as good as mine what he's going to go for. Most likely we're going to see something like 4 Staff, really, really good against the likes of Brax. I'm hoping for a Dagon, but you know, that's...
Rod of Atos, man.
Or Rod of Atos, yeah.
It's actually
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Rod of Atos sounds pretty good to me.
And speaking of things that don't sound pretty good, I see God is going for an Orchid. I'm not sure that's the right call right now.
I think Orchid would have been pretty decent if the game was a little bit more even, or even if they were ahead, and the laning stage didn't go that way. But kind of the bad thing about Orchid is that you get that Staff of Wizardry, or Oblivion Staff, #1, and the game goes south. Like, what do? Just hold that Oblivion Staff and not go anything else? And go for a Hex?
But even if you get an Orchid, I mean, of course it's really nice to Orchid Darkseer. Somewhat nice to Orchid Jakiro? But I mean, other guys...
If you do it against Alchemist when he's charging his stun, that's not bad. I mean, he's
kind of cute, but it's kind of a gimmick. You can't really know when he's charging. You can kind of hope.
And you're silencing a support Alchemist.
And you're silencing support Alchemist, which is not accomplishing much. Plus the extra damage from the Orchid. All these heroes are tanky. The 2 supports are probably the tankiest heroes. I mean, look at that. Naga Siren, tanky. Darkseer, tanky. The 2 supports, tanky. Razor, not the biggest HP hero in the world, but he has 1.3k now. And you can't just target that guy. Good luck Orchiding him.
Right.
Because you'll be super slow for quite a while.
Well, to be fair, it gives them a very reliable way to gank Naga. Because generally you gank Naga, she pops her ultimate, she TPs out. Can't do that against the Orchid. So it gives them a little bit more initiation power. But again, the way that the game's going so south for LGD, I just don't see that item having a big impact here. And Zenith, as they're kind of winning these team fights, I like them to see them push them down a little bit more towers and then secure the Roshan. That mid tier 1 tower is going to be very, very key at doing so. And unfortunately for them, the tower is sitting at very high amount of HP. They're going to try to force it down though right now.
The thing about Zenith lineup is that they don't need to get the towers fast. They don't need to just rely on the tower gold because they have a team that can dominate the map. No matter what, no matter if the other guys can rotate, because Razor can get away, Naga Siren, as you said, can get away. Darkseer are very escapable heroes, and the 2 supports are not easy to pick off. So now they probably will take this tower, and they're going to try and trade for this tier 2, but Pika will not be able to destroy it fast enough, and they can go for the tier 2 of the ball if they want to. But the thing is...
Oh God, trying to pick off a Kurg, he's gonna find one. Well, I guess that's a victory.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, it's tier 2, tier 1, tier 3 in mid lane.
I wish I could, yeah.
It's all good.
It's fine. Bit cheeky, works. It's a little bit of money. Good time to talk a little bit about the graphs. And look at this. How well LGD.int was doing. They were always almost 2.5k in advantage because of those early towers, because of the first blood. Now going 1.5k behind. And the experience graph, of course, not showing as much impact as the gold graph. And that means that most of the gold was in towers and not in last hits and map control in the lanes. And now going 5,000 goals behind for them. Zenith is in control of this game. They for sure they didn't win this already, but they are in a pretty safe way. And now if they decide to go for Roshan, suddenly that Luna with Eclipse is not as surprising anymore because
Well, top
that's what you
lane,
want.
they're trying to make a gank here, but this is what Sleep Buffs or Song Siren do. It lets you to TP your entire team in, and well, they're going to try to fight that. The net's going to come on Pycat. They say Brax, your TP out because we want the bigger, the juicier prize. Pycat pops the BKB, but all these spells that go through the BKB, Yamate, beyond godlike. He has a BKB of his own to his inventory.
And he's going for an Acceptor.
Yeah, Acceptor is such a sick item on
Yeah.
back in the mid lane here as X Freedom gets lifted up. Is he gonna get Orchid? No, the sun's gonna follow through on G, and G is gonna just melt under the fire and the flames and the ice of ice. Well, himself. 1437 is gonna go for some kill. The mech's gonna bring him back up, trying to TP out. No, sir, you don't. Not against an ice path, and that's yet another kill. They could just waltz into the Roshan pit, and I think they will. Zenith is in complete control of this game, and I just don't see LG Gaming doing anything to change this, because Darkseer not only having a mech, he's gonna have a pipe finish very soon. God knows what Alchemist is going for. Well, he spots
God
something.
knows. Then he should tell his team.
Yeah. Well,
Quack,
unfortunately,
quack.
he doesn't, because he's contemplating about his death right now in the pit, as he is going to be going for a 4-staff on Alchemist. So I feel like the item progression of Zenith is just miles ahead.
Yeah, it's going very, very well for them, and that advantage that Luna had, absolutely gone right now.
Yep.
They're getting farm in the jungle. They're even getting some farm in the Jakiro, which kind of needs it. He has an urn, he has arcane boots, he has that Jakiro is rich for a 5 support. And now I think they're waiting for the Alchemist to go for Roshan, because the Alchemist has a medallion that everyone wants, just because it kills him faster.
Look at Naga. Look at his items. What do you think about this?
I like this.
Yeah.
When you have so much of a level advantage against the supports that are, I'm surprised that I hit the right key in the first time. You have level 8 supports on Rubik and Visage. Just the fact that you have a Naga illusion hitting on you and burning you with the radiance makes you feel so powerless. And that means that they will have control over the team fights as well. Even more control than they had already. And I mean, if it's going well for you, why not, right? Radiance is a good item.
I mean, I'm somewhat surprised how big impact Naga had as a solo mid. Not having any single item, right? He just basically went straight Relic Rush, and it wasn't even the quickest Relic Rush. It just shows you how powerful Naga is with her spells alone, and Song Siren definitely left his mark in this game, using it as to counter-initiate, to counter-gank. We just saw the effect of it defending that top tier
Look at this illusion. Look at this illusion and how it burns the guy's Mystery. He probably can die here.
I don't know. They're stunning through it. The Naga coming. What?
He dies.
Well, yeah, that's pretty OP.
You have to use Grave Chiller illusion to run away. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sold on this Radiance Naga Siren right now. At least for this game. And look at that, what I was telling Freedom, now getting the farm from the Asians. Now Gribble Grid. It's level 1, but still he gets an extra gold right now.
Sure, yeah.
And the Alchemist will be making an impact, even if he started as a support and 4 position right now, and just getting a little bit of a 3 in terms of getting farm. And Brax, on the other hand, yeah, he has his armlet 23 minutes in. A Bracer, for some reason, probably going to drums, which didn't really work. There's still no Orchid on the Queen of Pain, and that's a trouble. Because he almost has the money for it, but as you say, what do you do with an Oblivion stuff? That's probably the most useless item by itself in the game.
Well, it gives you some decent damage. Mono regen is always nice, especially on a Queen of Pain that farms. It's not an item that you say you have at 23 minutes, like, yeah guys, great games. It's an item that, you know, it's a decent build-up, to be fair. But
I mean, it gives you pretty much the same as an old Talisman.
I agree. I'm saying when you have a Oblivion staff and they have a Radiance on the solo mids, you know, it's just not a fair comparison. But when you're down so much gold and so much EXP, you can't ask for too much. To me, my question is for you, Bruno, what can the Radiant do here? You still have a decently farmed Luna. She could still be snipe the Aegis, which too bad. It's
yeah, they snipe the Roshan, not the Aegis. Snipe the Roshan, yeah. That's a good call, by the way. I wasn't paying attention.
That's a good start. But
it is something. We'll see probably a little bounce.
They sniped the courier before too, but
that's not enough. I don't think it's a term. I don't think at this point it's a matter of gold or advantage. It's just that 6 execution that we saw on the Zenith Hexagon. Just for this game, it's a 9. I think the 6 just flipped because they're doing pretty well. They just are relying on Razor to get the game of its life. I mean, not because Yamada is a bad hero and is a bad player at all, but just because we barely see any Razor players succeed so good. I think this worked really great, and I'm actually happy that they decided to go for the Trident, even though I had my doubts, because it paid off so good. And now Yamate feels like he can go alone by himself and still control the
they're
game.
gonna try to surge Ice up top, and here, the Song Siren is gonna initiate. And who are they gonna kill first?
Acceptor.
Oh, well, here comes the BKB, and oh my god, the wall's gonna be on top of Misery. Just melts. Sonic Wave's not gonna do anything thanks to the pipe, and they want Pycat, and Pycat just melts, and here comes the TP out from 1437. Well, the team fight is already completely won. They got a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower out of it. LGD.int did, but it's just not enough as a trade. As Zenith adds more kills. Acceptor, like you said, already on top of Razor, and that now will allow them to use that ultimate to siege buildings. So cool stuff.
And that's good because right now all you need is Ice and Yamate in terms of a team fight. If those two survive, let's say a 5v5 fight, the power of those two by themselves to just take down towers, mow down into the opposition will be enough. Even if you only have one of those two and maybe a support, you will be able to do enough damage if you win a team fight. So now LGD.int has to be thinking, we have to win the team fights convincingly. We can't trade even because two of our heroes is not enough to stop one of those two heroes and one random support.
Right, and to me, they don't have the items to win those big team fights. Generally, items are really good at kind of having a lopsided team fight in your favor, or things like Scythe of Ice, having things like a mech pipe combo, having things big or like Vlad's and AC, and the entire team is just not near that level of farm to really commend that. So what LG's been doing is like doing tower trades, which is okay. They're doing gank attempts with the Lifestealer Bomb inside of Queen of Pain, which is fine. They haven't really been too successful.
Bottom lane.
And here comes another smoke gank up top. They're basically giving away a free tower, and Brax is being chased away by the entire team. Here we go. Orcus going to start on Ice. This is where Orcus stronger, but unfortunately, I think why is Ice not TPing out? I think if he TP'd right in the get-go, he might have made it out there. And the Radiance Burn just kills the Queen of Pain.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
50 damage per second, guys.
Yeah, and now watch this. Watch this bottom tower. And now they have to rotate. They have to defend this tower because, as I say, you can't kill the Naga Siren. You can't trade even because these guys are mowing down their towers. These towers don't regen. I mean, barracks regen HP, but towers don't. And this tower is gone. Well,
BKB's gonna get pop on Yamate. Now it's gonna be focusing on Brax Factor down to about half HP. Misery just, oh my god, the damage output of this Razor is absolutely insane. And X Freedom's gonna force half away, drop the stun, and he should be fine. They have to back off. HP is fairly low, or are they gonna even kill the birds? They do, but Naga's gonna be back in 13. He could just TP to mid tower, I think. Yeah, they're gonna just stay and wait for this. BKB on cooldown for about 50 seconds, so they can't engage kind of over aggressively.
Oh, they from 1437 just used the verse and they killed them again.
Oh my
god. So no verse on the Visage. It's kind of important right now because you lack those extra stuns, you lack the extra damage right now. And the cooldowns are wasted. There's still Eclipse, there's still what's the name of this? Sonic Wave. But there's no Infest, there's no Familiars. And it all will depend on whether Rubik can steal something useful, and he has nothing right now because he just died. So on the other side, Zenith has everything except wall, but that's okay because if they can get just a good sleep into an initiation, if they can get another Eye of the Storm, they can take the other tier 3 tower. And right now it's just a matter of waiting until the game ends for LGD.int, unless they do something extraordinarily well.
Yeah, Pycat's in a little bit of trouble right now. He's forced to pop the BKB, and I think if you're Zenith, you say, okay, yeah, we'll trade your BKB. Nice link steal, which is actually pretty decent. If you throw it on a particular hero, you force them back a little bit. But here comes the focus. Is he going to pop his ultimate? Yes, he will. He will start hitting the Raxes, and that Rax is not going to have a chance in hell surviving this siege. Well, that's the easiest melee Rax I've seen in a while.
Yep, there's nothing you can do to contest that because you can't get close to those guys. The zoning, the amount of zoning that they can do just by the range of their spells, just by the radiance being there, just by the Eye of the Storm ticking every 0.5 seconds, it's really scary. And right now, LGD.int has to say, we have to have one good team fight to get back into this game. But that one good team fight is really hard to find against those heroes. And
yeah, I think
Pycat, you're in trouble.
I think the best thing they could do, and Pycat is, there's no stun, so he could TP out. The best thing they could do is probably pick off Darkseer, because he provides way too much defensive capabilities through the mech and pipe for his team. Yep. With the pipe up, your Sonic Wave and your Eclipse is really not going to do any damage.
But at the same time, does he have buyback? Yes, he has enough for buyback.
And he has a breach of
And
travel.
he has a bunch of travel.
Right.
So, meaning if he focuses actually, he'll just buy back, go back to the fight. And it's like, sorry guys, have to kill me twice because I had kind of a free Aegis. And right now, this tier 2 tower, the last tier 2 tower, cannot be defended. Zenith will take it right now. And LGD.int can't farm anymore. They have to wait in their base. They have to just make do with whatever creeps get to their door. And Zenith can either go right now, and Misery is almost dying, by the way.
Two Nagas. Yeah.
Or they can just wait for the next Aegis and try to make things happen.
I mean, the next stage is 4 minutes. Zenith says we will win now. I mean, look at Freedom's item. I just want to say that this is one of my favorite Alchemist game ever as a support Alchemist. He's got a Medallion first into Force Staff into Blink. This is real man mode when it comes down to support Alchemist. And I really like the choice of pushing the bot lane instead of mid as well because it's further away from the top. And right now, LGD is so split in terms of deciding to defend the bot, deciding to defend top. It's just more and more pressure. And these Naga illusions, despite not being really tanky, they're tanky enough. I mean, Manta is going to be delivered out on the front, and I think once that Manta is going to come here, I think Zenith is going to come in.
Yep. Because right now, if the Orchid was a little bit annoying for the Naga, that Manta will make the Orchid pretty much pointless. And look at G, he can't really get close, and that Radiance Burn, that Acid Spray, the damage from everyone. It's impossible to be next to that tower and try to defend right now. Zenith is playing the patient game, they're playing slow, they know that they can pretty much get the illusions. I mean, at this point...
I don't want to say Razor also has Scotty coming out.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Because why not, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you want to chase people, might as well do that. And yeah, here comes the pipe. Here comes the illusion with the pipe. The illusion will zone people out. They have to focus on that. But now, because of that, they can't really defend the tower.
Yep.
Just sending the illusions, 75% HP for God just for being close by. 1437 also 80% HP. And Yamate is like, okay, I'm hitting your tower, I don't care, I have a Scotty, try to get close to me, try to mow me down. 12 armor, 2.5k HP, a BKB to pop if he wants to.
They got to fight right now, and here comes G. He blinks to the back line. Is he going to drop any spells? He runs back and forth. They're going to focus on Jakira of all heroes while they blow him up, but here comes Freedom with a blink and a stun. Song Siren is going to reset everything. They want Brax, or do they want G? Who do they want? I think Brax is the target. They're going to let him up, and well, I don't think he's going to survive. The drum's going to get activated. G's going to be on the back line. Here comes the net against Pycat. You cannot Manta out of it. He pops his ultimate, but all those illusions are going to block everything. Pycat's also going to melt, and one of the earliest GG we've seen. 32-minute G, well, not exactly the earliest GG, but Zenith, a convincing victory.
Very, very convincing victory for Zenith. They dominated from the get-go. The only thing that LGD had going for them was the bottom lane with Pycat.
Yep.
But when your Queen of Pain loses against Naga Siren, you know that something's wrong. And when 15 minutes into the game, you have a beyond goal line Yamate on a Razor, I really don't know what to say there.
I mean, you talked about Razor not being a great trialing hero. You talk about the skill build that he needs to go for. I said Plasma feel pretty nice in that lane, but I just want to say you were correct, man. You go for the Link first, you go for the early level of the passive, and it just was very, very hard for them to kill it. They initiated him throughout all of the game to kill him. Couldn't get a single kill.
You know, I'm as much as I like to be correct about that.
You are correct.
And I was correct. I have to say that it was a little bit of help from LGD. I think they didn't know how to react to the Razor pick. They were focusing on him. They were trying to get on the Razor, which you shouldn't because of that unstable current, because of the way static link works. They were doing something right, which is they were trying to contest the pulls, trying to get some experience out of the lane, and they were actually doing a great job to the point where the supports could keep up with the enemy supports as well. And even though Lifestealer was a little bit behind just by the nature of a Trident that you can't really pull away from the carry when you're playing offensive, they were still doing kind of okay. If they kept doing that, if they didn't go greedy, they could have gone something that way. That Queen of Pain could have ganked later on. Even if she can't kill the Naga Siren, she can make something happen. Remember, Pycat was doing a good time, having a good time bottom lane. Killed Darkseer twice. I think the Trident went too greedy. They didn't understand how the Razor hero works, and they paid for it, and they paid greatly. Yeah,
and LGD was not able to snowball off that Luna, and
nope,
that was pretty much all she wrote.
So
let's send it back to the analysts and see what they think.
Nothing left to say. They covered it all.
I'll talk about some more things.
Okay,
I guess. So I think that LGD just played it wrong. I mean, sure, they pretty much went on the Razor the first time. He got static linked, and then they all died. They traded 2 for 1 at that point, and then after you trade 2 to 1 in the off lane as your aggressive triple lane, especially versus Razor, who pretty much hard counters Nakes, they need to change things up. What they tried to do instead was just keep throwing themselves at the Razor. First time at the T1, and then it just ended the same way, even worse. So I think they could have just rotated the triple lane down bottom, moved Nakes into the jungle, and just abandoned that lane, because Razor got free farm as is. There's no reason to feed him kills on top of the massive amounts of CS that he's already getting.
And the hero doesn't actually do that much with farm. It's not an anti-mage. It's not a Phantom Lancer. It's not a Faceless Void. It's not a hard carry. It's a hero that is perfect for these small skirmishes. The other thing I didn't like was that tri-lane, Lifestealer, Rubik, Visage, they don't have enough damage to make Soul Assumption that effective early on. You have
need
to
more burst.
Yeah, if you're going to run a Visage tri-lane, you need another hero that does damage. Something like an Earthshaker, a Keeper of the Light. When Rubik's the hero there, which you can see why they wanted him, because they needed a setup. Open Wounds is not a setup in a tri-lane, but when you have that, Visage isn't actually that useful. And against Razor, if you don't have burst, you lose, because he steals your damage and he kills you.
I also didn't like the item choice from Luna. He went BKB, but every time he just like BKB and ran away, and it's not very useful versus Zenith's lineup. They had a lot of BKB counters. They can either just Medallion Encourage you and right-click you. They had the Static Link, and they have Ensnare. So they have 3 things that BKB's not terribly useful against. And even though she got free farm, she did phenomenally farming bottom. She solo killed the Darkseer. She was level 7 when Darkseer was level 5, forced him to go into the jungle, took out the T1, but the farm pretty much amounted to nothing compared to how poorly top lane went. So if we could expand the Hexagon to Octagon, I would definitely give like an 8 or a 9 to creativity and flexibility to Zenith, and maybe like a 5, or according to Bruno's thing, maybe like a 2 or 3 for flexibility, just because they just like counted on their tri-lane winning, counted on Queen of Pain winning, and when those didn't happen, they just seemed like lost sheep. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah, LGDN they've been winning a lot of games off the back of G dominating his lane as well, and G got crushed in this game, which in a matchup that you should do pretty well in. The Riptide is really hard to lane against with the changes to the cooldown, 10 seconds, but still, you're a Queen of Pain against a melee hero. You shouldn't be dying.
I feel like he should also just commit to the rune, because it takes a couple of seconds, or maybe like half a second, for the Naga to right-click and kill the rune. But if you're just there and just spam right-click on the rune itself, you can't actually get some runes. What he did was just sit in the lane. Naga had 1 at each rune, and then of course he's going to be able to get it if you're not actually there to contest it. There's 0 probability that he's going to get it if he's sitting in mid. But if he's sitting at either of the runes, that's 50% chance. That's much better than what he had.
Who needs Bruno? We have you. We have our second
One
stats man.
out of
You've got a
2.
challenger at least, Bruno. That's for sure. Guys, that's going to wrap up game 1. It is a best of 3, however. Let's see if LGD can bounce back. If not, and they lose this next game, they will drop down to the lower bracket. It's your opening day. It's your opening game. 4 best of 3s headed your way for the Alienware Cups upper bracket action. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the casting table as we have a unsymmetric. You're sitting. No more. I mean, yes, I like this, but like, there we go. And I need to be. All right, good. All right. Anyways, welcome back to game number 2 of Zenith. What?
I just wanted to be friends.
All right.
You're misreading me. Okay, much better.
All right, welcome back to game 2 of LGD.int as well as Zenith. Now, I know if you guys have been following the Alienware Cup, it's best of 2 before.
Right.
We're now in the playoff, so it's best of 3. Zenith up 1 game. Loser doesn't go home yet.
No.
Loser and go drops to a loser bracket, but you know you don't want to lose. In every
No, of
game,
course.
you definitely want to move on. So this is a very exciting game. We saw Zenith bringing their A game, creative draft, creative laning, but it's like you said, LG Gaming definitely had a helping hand.
Yes.
In terms of losing, shooting himself in the foot. Maybe not used to playing like Razor. Definitely not used to against playing a solo mid Naga, support Alchemist. There was a lot of funky stuff being done by Zenith, and Zenith, well, they have more funky stuff coming your way.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We are not showing it right now, but because I want to just make a point before, I said no. Well, but
We just got covered up by some BTS logo. Fuck
God
that.
damn it. So we see a wisp from Zenith. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about what LGD should do by this before going into game 2. They tried what worked for them before. They went for something very traditional with the Knights and Visage. Didn't work for them. I was thinking maybe they have to spy things up, but now, of course, it's easier to talk when you're actually watching at the draft.
And not having all the pressure.
And, yeah, exactly.
Not down 1 game and.
But you see Visage and Alchemist, and that, I mean, the Alchemist works much better with the Visage than the Lifestealer.
Definitely. One thing I am very concerned about LG Gaming whenever they pick an Alchemist is they always play, most of the time, like 80% of the time, play in mid.
Mid, God Alchemist.
And he's a great player, but I just don't see Alchemist snowball like a Storm would, like a Templar Assassin, like a Queen of Pain. These are more of traditional heroes like Gajas, basically solo carries.
Yeah.
Sure, I think Alchemist can have some sort of solo carry potential with things like a quick Lothar Shadow Blade and just gank all over the map and set up the tempo for the rest of the team. But it's very different from the previously mentioned hero like a Puck or something like as well. So when I see God playing Alchemist, they still win games. I just don't feel very comfortable as an LGN gaming fan.
We're going to have to see what happens because even it's very early to tell. The fact that there's a Wisp as well on the other side makes that if you're liking your Alchemist that just free farms on a lane, you have to be very, very careful.
Yes,
you have to dedicate someone.
Well,
I was talking about the 2 heroes that force you to play differently. And I don't know how LGD.int is going to play that. I said before, LGD.int is still playing a 677 kind of game. They are in the old patch. They're trying to do the things that worked 1-2 months ago. And having to play against a Wisp and a Treant Protector will definitely put them out of their comfort zone. The only thing that they have to be happy about